Hi, it's Tino Dwyer, tourism trainer, facilitator, clarity coach and founder of the Tourism Space. Welcome to the Tourism and Megatrends series. This is the 10th and final instalment in the series. I hope you've enjoyed the other ones, and if you haven't had a chance, you can have a look back at them at your leisure. They're all on the YouTube channel. So in the final series, what we're doing is taking some of what we've learned from all those other in-depth looks at particular megatrends in society and see what we can learn overall about tourism and travel. And the final megatrend we're going to talk about is travel itself, and as a result, the tourism industry. Travel is one of the most noticeable and the largest megatrends in society at the moment. To give you an idea in terms of figures, in 1950 there were 25 million international travellers. In 2013 there were 1.09 billion. And in 2030 it's forecast that there will be 1.8 billion international travellers in the world. So you can see the scale of the growth and the speed of the growth. And that has all kinds of implications for society, for destinations and for the economy that's built around tourism. Tourism globally is worth about 10% of overall GDP. 1 in 10 jobs are expected to exist in tourism. 1 out of every 10 jobs will be in tourism within just a couple of years. It's seen as a lifeblood for new and emerging destinations, and it's starting to become seen as a threat to other destinations. So it really is a complex time to be involved in tourism. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, fully ensconced in this industry, sometimes you can feel quite conflicted about this and the new prisms that we're starting to see tourism through. So are you contributing to the expansion and irresponsible expansion of tourism, or are you contributing to maybe a new model or a change in model, or to solutions that might help us address some of the challenges that are there right now? And I guess these are personal questions, but I do have the sense that right now tourism, as a result of this demand for travelling, is really in a state of churn and self-reflection and figuring out where it's going to get to. And I'm reminded of a friend of mine, Cillian Murphy, gave a talk recently that I had the pleasure of listening to, and he spoke about the analogy of being on a ship that's been going in the same direction for a long period of time at speed, that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to slow the ship down and turn it onto a new direction. And it is a really good analogy for tourism, and I feel that right now we might be just at that point of making the turn, and there's lots of churn and there's lots of spray and people are being shook about on board, and in the end we will turn the corner and head off in a new direction with speed and momentum. And that's just a personal view, and that won't be shared by everybody. But one of the things we've noticed through looking through the whole series is the conflict and the contradiction that many of these megatrends are bringing about for us. And the scale of growth in travel and tourism is definitely giving us a responsibility to address some of these challenges and contradictions. So let's have a look at them. For example, the ones that spring to mind, we noticed a great search for authenticity in all the megatrends, and at the same time a great growth in these carefully curated images of ourselves and our destinations via social media. So not all that authentic really. We see a great desire for global and homogenous benefits, and yet a great yearning for people to have things personalised and localised in their tourism experiences. 60 to 70% of people are choosing to live in work environments and in home environments that they know are not good for their physical and mental well-being, and then spend their spare time looking for rejuvenation and re-energisation and health benefits. One of the biggest contradictions is the search for sustainability, and yet the absolute belief that travel is a right, not a privilege. And those two are in direct conflict with each other at the moment. So while we know that the ecological impact of air travel or cruise travel is really significant in a bad way, we also see at the same time loads of people searching to use travel through air and through cruises to get to places that are unspoiled natural environments. So it's a direct contradiction. And what do we do about that? And I suppose back to the ship analogy, to change the model, we need to have 3 things. We need to have leadership, we need to have participation, and we need to have some kind of consensus of where this ship is going to go to. We might need new people at the helm. We might need all hands on deck. We need that consensus. We need everybody to contribute, and we need to have some kind of an agreement of where it is we're going to get to. So how are we going to achieve that? That's going to be the challenge of the leaders and businesses of the future. But one of the things we noticed through the Megatrends series is that the shift is being driven from below deck. It's been driven from the communities, by the businesses on the ground, by the new consumers, the millennials and the Generation Z, who want a society that is built on sustainable principles. We found that the tourism industry that has brought us to where we are today was founded and built in good conscience and good faith on volume, on growth, and on delivering profit back to the suppliers. And the model we need for the future is going to be built on value and on balance and on delivering benefits to multiple stakeholders, as well as to the environment and the places. So it's a big challenge for us in tourism. It really is challenging to be involved in this industry at the moment, but it's also very exciting because we will be able to lead and get out in front of some of these changes if we get that leadership and consensus and participation. But what about you and me and our individual businesses and owners and managers? What do we do in the midst of all this churn? The ideas of society and economy and environment, they're big policy terms and agency terms. And what do you do in your own business? And I, by no means, am going to give you the quick solution or preach to what people should do. But I do have a question that I find helps steer me and others that I speak to about this. A simple question of, can this last? Can your business model right now last? Is it taking account of things that are important for the future? Is it taking due account of your profit and your financial sustainability? Due account of your place and the health of that place, and due account of the people who live in that place, as well as the people who might be involved in your business, either as suppliers or as employees. So can the current model last? If you can say hand on heart that it does, then you probably are already taking account of the many different facets that are involved in tourism now and into the future. If you're not able to say that it can last, then you probably need to give attention to some of them. If it can't last, the question becomes, how can it last? What do I need to do differently to make this last? If I'm extracting too much, how can I replenish? If I'm taking from a place or from a community, how can I contribute back? And these questions are going to become, the answers will probably become self-evident. And I think as we're in this churn stage at the moment, we probably have more questions than answers. But the good thing is that more people are asking the questions and more people are interested in coming up with the answers. It's really no longer a fringe element of tourism that is worrying about the balance between place, people and profit. So, like I said, I don't have the solutions, but I am certainly looking forward to being part of the discussion and part of the actions that will bring about some of those solutions that will help change tack on this ship and maybe move us into a new future for the next phase of tourism and travel in the world. It's a megatrend that we're totally involved in and one that's really worth monitoring into the future. So that's the closing thoughts on the Tourism and Megatrends series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I've uncovered quite a lot of new perspectives in my research. There's 10 episodes in the series altogether. I hope you'll be able to refer back to them in the future, and I look forward to joining you in my blog again at a later date.